What's up, my people? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Happy Sunday. Just happy to be live. Happy to be live. It's good to be here. We just want to have a good show today. A lot of phone calls. I want to get a lot of phone calls in. Want to get a lot of people talking, asking questions. Let's see who's in the comments. D-Mac in the building. Spin to Mike in the building. If y'all hear me good, please put a thumbs up in the comment box. CashApp is up. Send me some money. If y'all hear me good, please put a thumbs up in the comment box so I know that y'all hear me nice and clear. Super important. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Owen, what's going on, baby? Y'all hear me? Owen, give me a thumbs up if you hear me good. D-Mac, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. A lot of things I want to get into. I want to take a lot of calls tonight. So anybody, what up, Rocky? What's going on? Anybody that's got anything on their mind, please don't be shy though. I don't want to, if y'all don't call in, I'm not gonna be on. The longer y'all call in, the longer I'm gonna stay on. So let's do that. People still coming in live, getting the notifications. If you haven't already subscribed and followed and hit the bell, the little bell on YouTube. This way you know every time I go live. D-Mac, thank you, brother. Thanks for the dough, baby. I appreciate you. $20 from D-Mac, Sheba Dog, and Samurai Armor. Waving the banner to say number one. Thank you, brother. Owen booked a consultation for last Friday. Didn't get a call. Man, I don't know if the appointment got made properly. Owen, do me a for last Friday. Okay. I'll check as soon as I get off. But you did if you just real quick, thumbs up if your credit card got charged. If it got charged, then I will go back in. And I'm assuming it went for Owen, right? I should be looking for Owen, right? What up, Tony Mac in the building? Owen, let's fix that as soon as possible, okay? So, if anything, I'll go through my stuff. Yeah, you got charged. Okay, is the name on the account, is it Owen? Or is it something else? Because if push comes to shove, I will. Yep, okay. All right. So I'll talk to you. Let me see real quick. If you can, put the date in when you put it in. Please put the date in. What was the date? Would it be, let me see, what's today? Today's the 20th. So would it be the 18th? Or would it be the 10th? The 18th or the 10th, Owen? If Owen, can you send me him the 18th? Okay, let me see. Okay, all right, I got you. I'll give you a call as soon as I get off. Okay, as soon as we finish the live, I'll give you a call. My bad. It was probably my oversight. My bad. But we'll make sure we take care of that. Okay, and I'll toss you a little something extra so we can do that too. Yeah, thanks for hitting me, Owen. I appreciate it. My oversight. Been running around a little bit crazy. Big shouts to everybody in the building, Owen and D-Mac, and thanks for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. Cash App is up. Send me some money, goddammit. I had an interesting week, and there's something I want to talk. I mean, I think a lot of times this is like one of those revelation evenings where I'm looking at something that I just automatically took for granted. And this was like the revelation moment where I realized all these, I don't know what, I mean, let me look that up. What do we call 20-year-olds right now? What do we call 20? I know they're not Gen X, right? Or are they Gen Z? Is that, so 20 years old would be born, what was that, born 2000? Born 2000 to 2005, I guess. What would that be called? I gotta get this, what it's called. So let me see. What do you call babies born in 2000? June are typically classified as millennials. Okay, so millennials. So this is something that I was not aware of, right? And this was something I talked about. I talked about this for about 6 months. The guys are not talking to women on the phone. The guys are on these what you call it? These apps, and they're not talking to women voice to voice. Just so y'all know, if my breathing is heavy, I'm probably gonna have to go get a stint. I got a little blockage. I'm getting old. Sorry, fellas. I'm getting old. So I had to go to the cardiologist and see what was going on because of my breathing, my shortness of breath and stuff. So I'm in the process of taking that. So I apologize if I'm a little out of breath, but we're gonna get all of that taken care so I can be around here to guide y'all into pimpdom. But so I didn't know that this was I didn't know this was a thing that guys were not talking to women on the phone, that even if they were dating and they were going out, they weren't actually talking to women on the phone. And the problem with that is mic is popping. The problem with that is this, that the whole point of ending up in a relationship, not just a relationship, not just talking to somebody, communicate with somebody, but part of it is to get to be intimate. You want to be intimate. You want to have an intimate connection. You want to have a physical connection. You want to have an intellectual connection. The whole kit and caboodle, and but you gotta. And a lot of times we don't really use our basic logic to understand stuff. So we wanna be in a situation where we have the life that we want. We have the partner or partners that we want. We want to have the wife that we want and stuff, but we're not communicating. So, like for instance, the point is this: if you're going out on a date with somebody and you ultimately want to have you want to have sex, or you want to have a physical connection, right? A physical connection, something as simple and fundamental as kissing, is a very intimate thing. And so if you think about it, you want to kiss, you want to hold hands, you want to have sex, you want to, and everything in between. Those things are even more intimate. But if the girl will not talk to you, if she will not talk to you on the phone, there's a really good chance that she's not going to put a dick in your mouth. It's probably just not going to happen. And so you have to look at this from a logical position. Like, I don't know if anybody, like, sometimes I watch I will watch like survival shows, like doomsday dudes and dudes who have go bags, and I like to watch survival stuff. But when you build, one of the first things you got to learn is how to build a fire, right? You got to learn how to build a fire. If you don't learn how to build a fire, you will die. Okay, something as fundamental as building a fire. But you can't, when you start a fire, you have to start with what they call kindling. I've seen guys use shavings of wood and different things like that. But you can't just if you're trying to start a fire from a rod, a Farad rod, where you the sparks, or if you're rubbing two sticks together, or even if you got a match, you just can't light a log. You know, you have to have what you call kindling, and the lighter, like paper or wood shavings or dried leaves or cotton or stuff to get the fire going. And as the fire grows, it gets bigger, and you add a little bit thicker fuel in it, sticks and twigs, and then branches, and then logs, and that's how you get a roaring fire. Well, everything that and this is when I say a lot of times that wisdom is the understanding of underlying concepts, how they relate to situations that seem irrelevant but really are not. Meaning, you learn these little techniques, but you have to take those techniques as an entity, and then use that entity to understand other things. Sex and physicality with women is the same thing. You just can't light the log. I don't excuse the pun. But you got to have kindling. There has to be touching and foreplay and kissing and emotional connections, and the fact that she feels safe and that you're speaking and communicating. So you talking on the phone is just as important as you having a competent penis, that you keeping an erection. All of those things are important, but you'll never even get to the point where you'll have sex or you'll have a physical relationship with somebody if you haven't done the kindling and the kissing. Like nobody, I mean, unless y'all know each other and y'all on some dirtbag shit. That's different. What I'm saying, but when you're meeting somebody, you have to kindle. You have to kindle the fire. You have to start with small pieces and build and build and build. And so, yes, you make a connection on Instagram or you make a connection on a dating app, but you just can't go, yo, you want to suck my dick? Like it's just ridiculous that's gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. So you have to kindle and let it grow. Let me say this also, that's for everything. Anything that there's an abrupt, well, I shouldn't say all the time, because there's always situations where there's always an exception to the rule, even if there is a rule. But you have to warm things up. Women are like crock pots. You gotta put all the ingredients in on a slow boil. It's just warm and then it's hot, and then you get that first bubble. Bloop, 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 bloop. And before you know it, the soup is boiling. But you can't get the soup boiling until it gets warm. And it's got to get lukewarm before it gets warm. That's one of the reasons why when we talk about laying 5 bricks, why we talk about the compliments that you pay are non-sexual, because what you have to establish communication. You have to establish some kind of social connection before anything else. And if you don't do that, you're gonna have a problem. Unless, of course, she likes you, and she's already made her mind up that she's ready to do. And that is possible, but even that is not really possible if you haven't established some kind of attraction, or you haven't created a situation or something, or these circumstances or variables that you are totally unaware of are present and you didn't even know it. It just doesn't happen that way. And if it does, it ain't your fault. What I'm trying to teach you is how to be social on a basic fundamental. How do you maintain your framing so that you don't look like you're unworthy of people's attention and people's validity, and people, where women want to be around you because you've created a foundation on the external. We're not talking about just the physical, but you've created a situation where you are attractive, where you've created desire. But understand this, it's a spark to kindling the twigs to branches to logs, and then you have a roaring flame. That's everything. Everything takes time. I give you an example. I was working on. I had somebody working on my Jeep. The guy was like, "Look, you got to warm the car up first. Don't just jump in the car. Let it run for a few minutes so that the fluids, the oils, and the transmission fluid kind of circulate. So you don't. It's better for the engine." So this was something that I realized. I think I don't know, man. Anybody who's in the chat might remember when I was talking about this a lot. The importance of talking, and I reiterate it all the time because but me, I guess what I'm saying is because of where I'm at, it just seems so obvious to me. And this is the thing. Anytime you talk to somebody, you date somebody, and they say, "Oh, it's just common sense." I had a situation. I was at the I was doing Godfrey's show, and Godfrey had said, he was asking about my show and how the numbers were going up and the numbers were growing. 2010, Sleek. I got a 40-inch, I got 37.5-inch tires on it. But I was on Godfrey's, and then he started trashing y'all, like calling, these simps, so-and-so simps, this a bunch of simps. And I was like, whoa. I'm not gonna let you talk to my people like that. This is my people. Like, the whole purpose of the podcast is so that you have an opportunity to learn. That you have an opportunity to develop and learn. And I'm not going to let somebody disrespect y'all, because how often is it a situation where there's so many guys who don't know what to do and are not asking, or on the low, they're going to West Walter, the jail dude, or Fresh and Fit, or all these other dudes, and they're watching these incel dudes, right, in a way that as if they're learning something. Yo, what up, Wayne? What up, doggy? How you? What's up, team? But you got all these frauds. And so I'm never going to let somebody disrespect y'all. Not if I hear it. What up, doggy? So I had to check him. I don't know if anybody watched the Godfrey show, but I was like, hey, yo, you're not going to talk to my people like that. That's what we're doing. Not only that, but when when some chick has got him twisted up, who the fuck that's my man. I love him. He's my brother. But who do you think he talks to when there's a problem? Look, Godfrey stay with chicks checking him. But there's levels to this. What happens when you with some chick that you like and she's acting funky, and there's been clear situations where he was twisted and asked me for advice by his own, this from the horse's mouth. So I'm not going to have him disrespect my people. And I'm talking about it because big shouts to my boy Major. Dude's been counseling with me for a long time. We hung out. He came to a couple of my shows and we hung out this weekend. But he mentioned it. And so I'm bringing it to people's attention. If they don't, I said, yo, I'm not. But he noticed that instantly. I checked him. I was like, nah, you're not going to talk about my people like that. And to call people simps when you don't even know, when you don't even pay attention yourself, when you 50-something years old and you still asking questions, we're not doing that. I'm not letting nobody do that. And I've had that happen a couple of times where I brought people on and they did some some disco shit, and I was like, nah, we're not doing that. But I digressed. I didn't want to go up for that. But I had to mention it because it was mentioned to me. But I instantly was like, it left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, no, we're not doing that. Anyway, so that whole idea of talking and building the connection on a verbal level, you can't have the physical without the verbal. the greatest inventions in the world, right, started out with a thought. And then from the thought became words. And from words, it became plans. And from plans, it became actual inventions. I mean, things that have been brought into fruition, which is important. But that's not, well, it is the point, but it's not the point. The point is this. I was doing some consultation, and again, Owen, my bad. I got fucked up with my schedule, and plus I was running around doing a shitload of shows, but I got you when we get out. Just shout to the family that, Owen had a consultation and I fucked up because I missed the call, but I got you as soon as I get off. But anyway, but the point being that it's another situation because of where I'm at and what my thinking is. When people say common sense, right? You hear that, like I had that same thing with Lord Jamal. It's common sense. No, it ain't. It's not common sense. Because common sense means that everybody gets it. And if somebody's asking questions and if people are making mistakes, then it ain't common sense. But I digress. I'm moving forward. So I did a consultation Saturday early. And the dude who I was talking to, bona fide Native American on the reservation, the whole shit, like tent ceremonies and all that, got a call. And he starts, so the way anybody who's done a consultation with me, I will let you talk and then I will stop you and I will ask questions. And as I see certain information, I will ask questions and guide the conversation in a way so that I can ascertain the information that I need to guide you in a way. Man, like it was crazy. It was like, what he was saying it didn't make no sense to me. The first time I've ever had a consultation where I'm actually talking to somebody and I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. You was in the back of my voice. It never gets better. Blah, 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 blah. Put yourself first, such and such. I don't know if I go back home, if my clothes are going to be packed up. How long you been with your girl? 9 years. Have you been married? In the traditional, just the answers was just all over the place. Where I was so baffled. Dude had it was a short consultation, but I really couldn't ascertain what he was talking about enough to kind of help him. And I was so confused that I went over time, right? And it came to me later that evening, I something that's fundamental to this game, fundamental to life is listening. You got to listen. I know how to listen because I'm trying to help you and I'm trying to ascertain and I want to understand what your perspective, no judgment. I may be asking questions, but there's no judgment in what I'm asking, but people don't listen. You have to learn. So here it is. I'm teaching people laying the 5 bricks and how to set up your life in a way that you can productively move your life in the direction that you want. And it's important to talk and how to get over fear and all these little lessons. But on a base level, none of that happens if you're not listening, if you haven't learned to actively listen. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. Actively listening. How many times we get into a situation where I have had a call from somebody and they're telling me their problem, right? And I'm asking them a specific question and they answer something else because they're almost so, but again, this goes back to the principle because the principles always revolve around the same things over and over and again that take us back to the center line through line, which is they are emotional, and because they're emotional, their thinking, their thoughts are scattered and all over the place. They're trying to, because they're afraid, there's fear, there's shame. They feel ashamed of the fact that this is a situation that they're in that they don't have any control over. And so they want to anticipate what my questions are or the answers that they think I need. They're trying to look like they're cooler than they are. Call in, Matthew. You need me? Call in. The number's on the thing, man. 929-269-4922. Call in and we'll do it now. And in fact, if you call in, this will be even better because I can actually show you what I mean. So I'm at the guy, so there's all this emotional, and he's bottled up in this emotion. He loves his girl. He doesn't have a lot of experience. He's in a situation where he doesn't know if he's gonna bring he's gonna end up with this relationship. In this relationship, y'all fight a lot. When do you fight? When do you fight? When my parents are here? How often? And I'm asking these questions, and I'm literally trying to get to the point. Hold on one sec. Damn, all right, let's go. I think that's Matt calling in.
Accept, press 1 to send a voicemail.
Matt, what's going on? Is that Matt?
Yeah, that's Matt.
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Thanks,
shitty, man.
Thanks for calling in, bro.
Thank you.
You got a roofing company, Matt?
Yeah, I do roofing and siding.
And what year? And what town?
Waseca, Minnesota.
In Minnesota. All right. So just if anybody needs roofing and siding, go to Matt McMahon Siding.
McMahon, yeah. It's Maverick City Restoration, Inc.
All right, so you got a plug. If anybody in Minnesota needs a roofing guy, let's do that too. Let's do this like we family. So I don't know if you was listening to me, but I was talking about the idea of listening. So I know you got a problem, but I want to be able, since you're on the phone, if you don't mind, I'm gonna use you as a guinea pig. Okay?
Go ahead, man. Yeah.
All right. So what is your problem?
My wife says that I don't care anymore.
Okay.
I'm controlling, pretty much. I control everything she does.
Is she saying I don't now? Here's the point. Listen to the question I'm asking you, and I want you to answer the question I'm asking you, not what you think I want you to say. First of all, I think a lot of times when I'm talking to people, sometimes they're a little starstruck because they're talking to me, or they're nervous because they're talking to me. But I want you, the most important thing is that you got to listen to the question I say. Now, did she say you don't care about me anymore, or did she say you're controlling?
I'm controlling.
You're controlling.
I'm too controlling.
Now, did she say you don't care about me?
Yeah, she said that to me before.
But initially, what was the complaint? What was her complaint? That you're too controlling? Is that, or am I right or wrong?
I'm too controlling, and she don't have a life no more. Her life revolves around me and what I need, my needs.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Why do you think she says that, in your opinion?
In my opinion, because we got together 4 years ago, and she moved right in, and, I have 4 kids that she, became the mom of, and takes care of them, and they live with us, and she just kind of got absorbed in my company, and she works for the business, and she just, she don't have no self-identity, she don't identify as somebody.
Okay, so let me ask you, so did she have kids before? Is it a blended family, or is it all your kids?
She has no kids. And all my kids.
So they're your kids, and she moved in with you with your kids?
Yeah.
Do y'all have kids together?
No.
Okay. All right. So what was she doing when she met you?
We met at a Christmas party for an Alanol for AA, NA meetings. Okay. We both are in recovery.
All right. How long have you been in recovery, and how long has she been in recovery?
She's celebrating 4 years this year, and I'm celebrating 8 years.
Okay. So First of all, let me stick a pin in that. I want everybody to understand how I'm asking Matt specific questions, and he's answering the questions that I ask. In order to do that, this is such an important point to in general in terms of communication. Take a second, take a breath, and realize what they're asking, because there's a distinct difference, Matt, between her saying you don't care about her and she doesn't. You're too controlling. You understand that?
I do.
Because you could be too controlling, right, and still care about her, right?
Right.
And you could also not care about her and still be controlling. All of those things are possible, right? But in order to fix,
Definitely.
here's the thing. I a few years ago, I had a roof put on my house before I sold my house, right?
Right.
Now here's, I'll relate this to roofing. I had a leak. I used to have a studio in my house, and the water was leaking in the studio, right? And so the guy came in and he looked at the ceiling, he saw where the water was coming in, right? And then we went on the roof and we looked at it, right? And there wasn't really anything visible, right? Like you couldn't see any visible damage. And one of the reasons why he was trying to do what he was figuring was sometimes the water will come in at a different place, right? And it will run in the roof and then come in the house from another place, right? So you could have a leak from some place where the roof is leaking from someplace else, but it comes in the house somewhere else, not direct, like it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. I've dealt with this scenario hundreds of times in roofing.
Okay, so I want you to understand that I'm not a roofer, right? But there's basic common sense that I can understand, that I could discern what's going on. So I'm going to tell you what happened. You know how the gutters come? So we had an intermediate roof. So we had a little short roof and then we had a higher roof, right? And so the gutters were coming down off the side of the building, right? It's a picture of brownstone. And then the gutter came out, and then there was the tin gutters, and then it was running off the edge of the thing, off the intermediate into the gutter, and then it was running down, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yes, I do. Yep.
So because of the gutter was laying on the roof. Guess where the fucking hole was?
Right by where the gutter was.
Right under the gutter, right? But guess where it was leaking? It was leaking all the way at the end of the house. So what was happening, the water was coming in, it was running through the thing. And because he could see like the bubbles and stuff, I don't want to get too technical. I don't want the rest of people who are going live, what the fuck is this, a roofing podcast? But I want you to understand that, like, basic listening and understanding this, and how I can explain this to you, right? No matter who you are, no matter what you do, there is a relative thing a relative theme that you can use. Even if you've been doing roofing and siding, you can use the same thing, the logic that you use in siding. What you have to do is figure out where the leak is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's you. Send me the cash app. $10 for Michael McMahon.
That's my brother.
That's your brother.
Yeah.
Thanks.
He told me to call in. All
right. So here's the thing. What you need to find is where the water's coming in. That's the most important thing, right? Then you find out if it's running. But if you can eliminate the water coming in. So what I'm saying is you need to specifically figure out what she's feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if she's saying, you're too controlling, is different than saying you don't care about me anymore. Intricately, she's part of
the controlling thing.
It is but intricately, she's part of your business, right?
Yeah, she works for the company. She gets a paycheck.
Okay, so she gets a check from the company. Yes, you pay her from the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the president.
So she can't say that is she good at her job?
Yeah, she's really good at her job.
Okay,
really good.
So she can't say that you don't care I mean, there may be a situation where you're not being affectionate, but you do. I want the people who are listening to understand when I asked him, and when I asked you, Matt, what is she good at a job? Does everybody in the chat, right? What up, D? Everybody in the chat, I want you to understand that what was his tone when I asked him, was his wife good at the job? Nobody in the chat, nobody that's listening, nobody that's live, nobody that's going to listen to this later is not going to understand that Matt feels that his wife is valuable in the business, right? Give me a thumbs up if everybody agrees with that, because clearly, just from the way you said that, I know that she's important in the job. Make sense? So then the point is,
important in all things.
So where is the water getting in? The water gets in. Do you still love her?
Deeply.
Okay, and she's great care with your kids. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They love her.
And
they love
so
her deeply too.
But are you clear about expressing that to her?
I thought I was.
Okay.
I thought that we were on good terms. One day we're in Ireland, everything's going good, and the next moment she's got. I went to grab her phone to use her phone, and she freaked out and snatched her phone out of my hand. And then it turns out that she's been talking to this other girl about other shit about leaving me, I guess, for a long time. And her excuse is that I'm too controlling.
Okay. So is there anything that you could think about does she mean controlling in the business, or does she mean controlling in the house?
I think finances.
In what way? Because you just don't let her spend the money that she wants to spend, or what?
No, because she'll spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff that's not necessary. And
now,
I don't make that kind of money.
Does she have money that she spends on her own, that she can spend on her own? I mean, like she gets a salary, yes?
Yeah, we have a joint account. She uses it as she needs.
And does she contribute from that money into the house?
No, she don't pay any of the bills.
Okay, so what do you expect of her, the money that you pay her in salary?
It goes into our general account, and then we use that to pay bills, and she takes what she needs out to buy whatever she needs in life. I mean, I don't, it's just that she likes to overspend on money.
Okay, so all right, so
we've been together 4 years, and I probably spent over $100,000 on this woman.
Okay,
honestly.
but here's the thing: does she have her own account?
She does, but she don't use it.
What do you mean she doesn't use it? What do you mean she doesn't use it?
She don't. She has an old account that she's had in the town she grew up in, and with the bank that's there, and it's in her name, and I don't know if she ever uses it.
And there's no money in it. There's no money in it, or you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So here's what you got to do. Here's the first thing is, if you appreciate her, right? Like I understand you. I get this. I get the sense that you took her to Ireland, right?
Yeah, we went to Ireland for a week.
Now, was that something she wanted to do, or is that something you wanted to do?
We went to Ireland just for her cousin got married up there.
Okay, but have you done anything specifically for her?
Yeah, we take a trip every year on our birthdays to go to Duluth, Minnesota on fall time, and then we go to Sturgis every year together. That's something that we do together.
Okay, but let me ask you, but I'm saying, does she want to go to Sturgis, or do you want to go to Sturgis?
She plans and organizes everything.
Yeah, I know that, but she plans everything in the house, doesn't she? Takes care of the kids. She plans everything with them, right?
Yeah.
So her planning a trip might just be a trip. So I guess what I'm saying, Matt, this doesn't, I mean, it really, if y'all are together this way and she works with you and your lives are so interwoven and intertwined, I think that first of all, you got to do is you got to have a sit down and you got to have a conversation with her, right?
She's at the point where she wants divorce. She don't want nothing to do with me.
You sure?
That's what she keeps telling me.
Okay, then you got to give her the divorce.
She moved out. We're separated right now.
Okay, and where are the kids?
They're with me.
How old are the kids?
9, 8, 6, and 5.
And how long? And she's been raising them, some of them, since they were like really young, huh?
Yeah. They're 4 years.
Okay, I didn't know they were out of the house. Now here's the thing about out of the house. So she's gonna continue to work in your business, or she's gonna leave your business as well?
She don't want. She wants to leave it as well.
Okay. Well, here's what you got to do. There's something that I say that's really, really, really simple. It's never give ultimatums. You only make ultimate decisions, right? What that means is, it's one thing if she's complaining. It's another thing if she wants a divorce. How old is she?
She's 32.
Okay. And is she very close to the kids? It's like some of them, she raised them as her own, right?
Yeah, she's really close to them.
So does she want joint custody, or what's the situation with the kids?
No, she don't. No.
She just wants to go.
She never asked for it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, she says she still wants to see the kids, but I don't.
You gotta let her go, man. You gotta let her go. Now, when I say that, it sounds like it's bleak, right? But what you do, what you have to do, and she said to you, "I'm done. I want out of this marriage."
Yeah, she don't want to try working things out. She don't want to go to counseling. She don't want to talk about it. She just wants to be done.
Okay. Well, then then your options are only what she's allowing the options. One thing if she's trying to talk to you and she's complaining. It's another thing if she's already moved out and she's made up her mind. But I will tell you this, right? One of the things that sounds to me, because you run a business, you've given her a job, she might have something that she might have somebody that she's talking to on the side. Is that what do you suspect that?
A friend of hers, yes. Not intimately, I don't think.
But do you think that there's something else going on, or it's just because is her friend single?
No, she just recently got married, but she's a drama queen, and I think she's the one that's pushing her to leave me.
Okay, well, you can't do it. I mean, she's 32 years old. She has to be responsible for the decisions they make. But the first thing you got to do is you got to give her the divorce as quickly as possible, right? And you got to say to her,
right,
listen, I'm going to start interviewing for whatever her position is. I'm gonna start interviewing for a position so you can move it, and that's all you say. It's one thing if somebody is trying to talk to you and trying to resolve it, and it's another thing if somebody says I'm ready to go. Then you got to let her go. But you got to understand what she's doing is she's looking at the fact that the grass is already greener. It's easy to say I want out. I guarantee that she has a maternal connection to these kids if she's raised these kids for as long as she has. Don't get me wrong, raising kids and all of that stuff is difficult, and she might just want out because she got involved with this so early on and y'all been together so long, and she might just want out. But what she doesn't understand is, it sounds to me, Matt, like you're a pretty solid dude, right?
I try to be, yeah.
And it sounds in a lot of ways where you've been practicing ACE. One of the things about practicing ACE is that it's the best way to have a successful business, because people, whatever service you get, and let me shout this out to everybody who's listening to this, people will, no matter what happens, no matter what your prices are, right? People will fuck with a guy who's more expensive if they're reliable, right? If you do what you say, you maintain your credibility. Big shout, $5 on the super chat. Oh, it said from Andre Decoto. Hope all is well. I've been following you for years. Just wondering, do you still have a connection with Mr. Cinnabons? Yeah, he still calls me every once in a while. So what I'm saying is, it just seems to me like you're a righteous dude already. Do you understand? And so whether or not you got 4 kids or not, right? No matter what happens, you're going to take care of these kids, right?
Right. Yeah. No matter what.
And so there's a certain there's a certain level of comfort and attractiveness that a woman will always have with a guy who tells the truth, shows up, goes to work, puts the roof over their head, goes to work every day, does the business. Okay. So, but I think what you got to do, the first thing you got to do is give it a divorce as quickly as
I did. I filled the papers out tonight.
Okay. Second thing, you have to have a conversation with, say, listen, I want to start. When is she looking to leave the business? You need to start interviewing for the business and then you leave it at that. Are you having conversations with her about, or trying to talk to her to get her to come back or anything like that?
I was this afternoon, but then I don't know what happened, man. We were talking, and she just doesn't want to reconcile.
Okay, then stop. Don't mention that again. What you have to do is take I need you to deal with this, Matt, like it's a business. I want you to, what you have to do is you let her know, you understand she wants to go. When is she decided? When is she looking to go? And you want to immediately start to interview people for her position. Okay?
Okay.
And the reason why you do that is because whatever happens with this, right? She needs to understand that you are not begging her to stay, right? So what is her position at your job? What does she handle?
She's an office manager.
Okay,
she's a manager. She does the bookkeeping and stuff like that. Okay,
so here's the thing. She got to go out and find another job. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And she thinks, and I bet you pay her pretty good, yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now she's got to go out and find a job. She's got to also pay for an apartment. She doesn't have the ability to manage money. That's why y'all have the problem in the first place, right?
Right.
So think about, if we just,
part of it is the finances.
If you remove yourself from this, what's the chance of her finding an officer management job that's going to pay her more, going to give her a better situation than she has with you, and now she has to go get an apartment and manage an apartment? What's the chance of all of those things happening before it all comes crashing down?
I don't think it will.
Okay, so it's
I don't think she can. I don't know if she's ever had an apartment on her own. She's always lived with her mom and dad. She's never had her own place.
Okay, and that's probably what the problem is. It's probably she thinks that it's better on the outside. But here's the thing, and just Spirit to Might just in the comments there said she gonna learn. and the thing is, being an adult ain't easy. It ain't easy. Saving money, running a business. How many employees do you have in your business?
We have 18 of them right now.
Okay, so what, has she always just worked with you in the business?
Yeah, I've been self-employed for 30 years.
Okay. So do you understand what I'm saying? That like she has no idea what a good deal she's got. And then and I say this to guys, anytime I do a consultation with somebody, we talk about, the first thing we talk about is ACE, which is authenticity, credibility, and empathy. And anytime I've ever done a consultation when I ask them how many of their friends that they know, that they consider friends, tell the truth, keep their word, and have empathy for other people. And most of the time, they all say none. They might have somebody that's kind of trustworthy. They might have somebody that's kind of credible. And if they are those things, then they're probably not empathetic and so on and so forth. So my point is, You are a commodity. You have a successful business. You have provided her with a job. You have provided her with a roof over her head. She's had everything, and she just does not. I guarantee. I mean, like, I'm not wishing her any bad, but let's be honest. What's the chances of her having her life together so that she can move on and it's going? And once she gets out in those streets with them wolves that we all know are out there. Guys who want to take advantage, guys who want to smash and dash, guys that want to take advantage, guys who are abusive, guys who are physically abusive, guys who are emotionally abusive, and all those things. It'll be a long time before she's out in Ireland again. Nobody's gonna pay her.
That's her. That's all her last relationships. Is this what you said?
And so what happens is, you got to move on, but you got to move on in a real way. And the best way for you to move on is for you to understand that you are the commodity. You can always look. There's always some chick. I got a friend of mine right now. This woman that has one child. He's a pretty proficient comic. And he met a girl. She's got a kid, and she's trying to put the nails in the coffin. She's trying to marry him immediately because she understands he's a good dude, and he's not rich, but he's got a nice little chunk of change. He got a house. You know what I mean? So it's like this idea of you being, like you get a bad bitch, and she's like, well, I'm the table. No, you're not. No, you're not. Understand this. Anytime you are in a relationship, and you have. Anytime you're in a relationship and you have any woman, as a man, as a reputable man, you're going to do things you never wanted to do. You're going to listen to things you never wanted to listen to. You're going to go to places you don't want to go. You're going to spend money you don't want to spend, right? And you do it knowing that you're never going to be reciprocated in the same way. It's never going to happen. But we accept that because that's kind of the man's position. But knowing that, right. I understand that you're attached to it, and we, I don't know if you listen to the show, but I had a Professor Dave on the show, and we talked about pair bonding and how when we're with somebody for a period of time, we'll have a tendency to we connect with them. You get used to their smell. You get used to the tone of their voice and how they feel. If when you sleep with them, you know how you feel. There's so many things that as a man we get comfortable with, and it becomes habitual. So we want to.
Not just that, but we think the same. We talk. We say the same things.
You know what
man.
I mean? Like when she starts,
you stay with somebody so long, it's like you become each other. I mean, it's.
But here's the thing: you are who you are. Women tend to be malleable, right? So a woman will become who she becomes. She will become who she is. A woman is a reflection of the guy that she's fucking. So, and that's why we as men, a lot of times, we have the same shitty friends that we've had since we were little. Women have friends they shop with, friends they hang out with, friends they go to the bar with, friends that you know what I mean? Because they're very malleable in terms of their emotional state and whereas if we got three shitty friends, and one of them is an asshole that we don't really like, we still keep them around anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, whereas women will have groups of people that they do different things. And the bottom line is when she's on her own, like what they said in the chat, she gonna learn. What you have to do is you have to make a decision that you're going to move forward with this. And there's a really good chance that she's going to swing back and want to come back. I would bet money. The point is now I'm not telling you to do this as a strategy because I always say real game is no game. Like we never do anything for a particular outcome. But what we do is we do the right thing. We act in righteous ways all the time so that we can maintain the fact that we're moving forward in a righteous way so we don't ever have to question what we're doing. She says she wants a divorce. You write up the papers, you give a divorce. She says she wants out of the business. You start interviewing immediately. You post the job and you start immediately and you get her the fuck out of there. Because once she's out there in the cold like that, trying to figure it out. All that other shit that whatever her girl is pumping in her head, ain't none of that shit gonna be missing. It is, and we all know, everybody, every guy that's in this chat, every woman that's in this chat, every woman that's listening, we all know dirtbags. There is dirtbags out there. There's a couple of dirtbags in that is listening live, right? That are trying not to be dirtbags. Do you understand?
Yeah, I can't play no game, man. I don't have no game. I am just me, you know. I'm 100. And my integrity, my word is everything. You know?
And as long as you maintain that, she ain't gonna go nowhere. And if she does go, she will be. I promise you, she will regret this. Now, I'm not saying to do this so that she will regret it, but I'm saying stop every time that you ask to talk to her or you talk to her about this, right? What you're doing is confirming to her that she's making the right decision. So when somebody don't call me back, I don't call them back. And I let life kick. It's just like kids. You got 4 kids. When you raise your kids, anything that you don't teach your kids, guess what happens? You could love your kids so much that you shield them from stuff, but guess what happens in the long run? Life will put its foot in their ass. So whatever you don't teach them, they're gonna pay for it later. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I live that life.
And then what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to get back in the game. You know?
Man.
But that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. I know your story, Matt. All you got, I'll put it up. Let me put it up real quick. Get a consultation with me, bro. I would, I could definitely help you with this. I can help you with the transition. I can help you know what moves to make so that you don't talk her. I mean, look, let me ask you this. If, let's say, you know what, I'm not gonna, I was going to ask you, let's say if 6 months she was out and about, right? And then she decided to come back. Is that something you would consider?
I would think about it, yeah.
Okay, but now here's what happened. Somebody just talked about, there was a guy who in the comments, they just mentioned this guy Cinnabon, which was this guy was 53 years old when he started to consult with me, right? And his wife, he had built a house for her. Everybody's heard this story. I don't want to go into it because it's I've talked about the story, but I helped him with his divorce. What up, Will? I helped him, navigated him through his divorce. I helped him, and then I actually helped him get his first threesome. He was 53 years old. He had his first threesome with 2 strippers, 23 and 24 years old. And then he went on a tear. But he really wasn't a guy with just like a smash and dash kind of. He was like a relationship dude. But he's got a beautiful Brazilian woman that he dates, and he travels to Brazil with her, and he's got a really good relationship. But he went through the same thing, and it was just like out of nowhere. She was just so sure she wanted she wanted this divorce, and then what ultimately happened is she got the divorce. Now she lives in a 1-bedroom with her mother, and 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 she's got a job where she makes half the money that she, like when she got married, she was making, maybe 50 grand a year. She didn't even have to work. So all she had to do was watch the kids and go to yoga and go to the gym. And she's back in the workforce at 50 years old, out of shape, older, has no real romantic exploits. And she's back in the grind. And even if she did have romantic exploits, she got to work 40 hours a week now.
Right. Yeah. Geez.
He built a house for her. Built a house which he poured the concrete for the fucking, he paid to have the concrete, the foundation poured. And she didn't appreciate any of it. He yells too much. He's too controlling. Same kind of nonsense, just not appreciating. Now, I'm not saying that there's not things that he could have done to adjust. And when you were first telling me, when I didn't know that she had already got out of the house and she was, already made up her mind, There's things that you can do to adjust, but you can't, a relationship is like carrying a couch, right? It's easy if you got two people.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't carry a couch up the stairs with one person. It's really difficult. And so you got to understand that you don't have a choice but to move on. I promise you, Matt, as my testimony is to everybody that's on this live, that if you work with me, I'll help you through this, and we will put your love life and your life in perspective in a better situation than it ever was. To the point where you might, even if she decides that she wants to come back, that genie might be already out the bottle.
Yeah, I said that to her today. I said, I'm going to change and I'm going to be a different person just so my next relationship is going to be better. I said, and what's going to happen is down the road, you're going to see that change and you're going to want to come back.
Yeah, you got to learn not to talk. Shut up. Stop talking. You've done enough talking. Stop telling her what it's going to be. Stop giving her the map, the game plan. Just go, okay. The next conversation you have with her should be like, listen, I want to start interviewing for your position so I can have your position, so I can start to fill your position so you can get your life started and meet somebody that, and you can move on. Not even meet somebody, but just move on with your life. Okay?
Okay.
That's the only thing that you should have a conversation with you. And then go book a session with me, a one-on-one consultation, DanteNero.com, and we'll start you from scratch. We'll get you, because I know you're rusty, right? Because it's been 9 years.
Yeah.
But we'll get you back in the game and we'll get you going. I promise you, man. This is not, I know it seems difficult, but we can fix this. This is really easily fixable. And the fact that you have the wherewithal to that you're already kind of, you're already authentic and credible. And, maybe we can work on the empathy a little bit more, because if you had worked on the empathy, you might still be with her,
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, it's, you live and learn. If you haven't learned it, then you can't know. Okay, Matt?
Right. All right. Well, thank you.
Hit me up as soon as you're ready to get with it. But do not, the only conversation you should have with her at this point is that, listen, I just wanted to call you, let you know, I didn't want to blindside you, but I'm going to start interviewing for your position. Okay?
Okay.
Yep. That's all you should say. Okay? Big shout to Jesse Bagara, $1.99 on the super chat. Thank you so much. And I promise you we'll fix this, okay?
All right, man.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, it's a I always say, this game is it's simple, but it's not easy, But he seems like an Oreo. Just unfortunate, because what happens is a lot of times when you are not, you gotta, when you're in a relationship, you gotta date your wife. You know what I mean? You gotta date, because she wants to be, you still gotta keep that spark going, because they work on the emotions of this. They work on the emotions. And if you're not dating her, so I'm like, look, I guess, she wanted to go to Ireland, but Sturgis sounds more like something that he was doing than her not doing. And even if it was what she was into or what she's not, sometimes you just gotta ask, because what you don't want is somebody to be able to say you didn't ask. So this thing about him being over controlling because she wants to spend the money, what you got to do is, even when it comes to that, you have your joint account, you have your separate account, right? And she works, and then she is responsible for putting a certain amount of money in the joint account, and then a certain amount of money needs to go in her own account. And what she does with that money, what she saves or how she does is her business, but she has to see her responsibility in the context of the finances of this, because it's real easy when somebody's doing it for you. But anybody that keeps a balanced checkbook or balances money, it ain't easy. I mean, it ain't easy for me. I'm just lucky that I make enough money that when I fuck up, I can, that I can do what I do. But, and I also ain't gonna do what I don't want to do. But, it's an important thing. It is an important thing. But getting back to also, let me put the phone lines up real quick. I mean, that was good because y'all can see. It's for people to be able to see what it is and how you pull apart, or how when I do the consultations, I pull it apart piece by piece, identify the problem, I identify the hole in the roof, patch the hole in the roof, or sometimes you just got to replace the whole roof. You cannot. When a woman says, "I want to leave," you should never have a discussion about that. She says, if she's got the boldness to understand, to say, "I want to leave," and she feels like she could do that with no repercussions, right? Or that, not even, I shouldn't say repercussions, but the fact that you are going to hold her accountable for the things that come out of her mouth, that is a problem. That's a problem that you have created a situation where she thinks she can say that and just, because I guarantee she had been saying this or hinting to this before, and then she's got some girl that's, maybe some chick who's fresh out the plastic. She's just got married. Like her best friend just got married, so she thinks she's a guru. She's got it all figured out. But even their relationship is gonna go to shit. Everybody's relationship goes to shit at some point in time. The point is, you got to be able to go through the tunnel and come out through the other side. And if you don't have any skills to do that, you're just not going to be able to do that. But what you don't do is ask why. Why do you this? Why? If somebody has the audacity to tell you, I'm one out of this, understand what is being communicated. You're not good enough. Doesn't mean that what she's saying is she won't change her mind, or that she's wrong or whatever. But if somebody says you're not good enough, your instant response to that should be, "Hey, yo, okay, I'm done. Okay, what do we need to do? How can we move forward on this? How can we move forward? How can I facilitate this? I have a business. I have a position. You have a position. You're an intricate part in my business. We need to get rid of you and get somebody incompetent because I'm moving on." Because what you're in essence saying by your willingness to move on is you're saying, "I have value. I understand what my value is. And if you're not smart enough to see what the value is, that's fine. We will move on." Make sense? It's unfortunate though, because the ones that suffer is the kids. Big shout to wait a minute. Big shout to Justin. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Let me see. Dante's book will be a graphic novel on a monthly basis, different characters with different backgrounds. Thanks. Is black and Dante is black and out of shape. He needs to write that shit pronto. Can't lose him like Patrice. Thanks, Jesse. I guess that's a compliment, but Jesus Christ. There's the door. It will remain open when you return. Well, no, not necessarily. It's there's the door. It may be closed when you return, Oh, he's Jesse. Jesse, they going at Jesse because he said I'm gonna die. Uh, Backhanded comment. It's whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. I've been through. I done had so much nonsense in my life. I can't take that. I can't take that seriously. Phone lines are up. Let me put the what do you call it up? The phone number. We are hour and I was only gonna do an hour, so the phone number's up 929-269-4922. The phone lines on call in 929-269-4922. Cash App is up. Send me some money. What the heck happened? What the heck happened here? Anyway, there it is. 929-269-4922. But you have to be definitive about your decisions when you're making. You have to be decisive. If you're not decisive, then it leaves too much wiggle room. It leaves too much wiggle room for people to take for granted the opportunities that you create for them. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. So you want what you say you need to mean it, because it has to have gravity. There should be gravity in what you're saying and what you're doing. 929-269-4922. So, but the other thing I was talking about is I figure like this is so fundamental that people would go, oh, this is common sense. This is common sense. But just being an active listener, right, is so important, because if you're talking, if you're emotionally caught up, if you're not listening actively what people are saying, because a lot of times it's not just what they say, it's what they don't say. It's not, even when you get a situation and then you have to ask questions. But if you're not paying attention, you can't ask the right questions. Got a call. Let's see what we got here.
Bergara.
To accept.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm Jesse. I'm calling from Twin Falls, Idaho.
What up, Jesse? How can I help you, bro? What's going on?
Holy shit. Now I'm talking to you, Dante.
It's good to hear.
Right. So I left a message earlier about you writing a book. I remember you talking about it. Where are you at with that?
I'm still working on it. There's a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of shit going on. But I am working on the book. It needs to get done so I can get it, but I'm also trying to get my store up so that the merch, we can start with the merch, and I would just put the book, once I finish the book, I'll put the book in the store. But anything I can help you with, family, what's going on?
Honestly, no, my life's great. You've helped a ton as far as relationships go.
That's dope.
I'm grateful.
Married, engaged, what? Got a wife? What's the deal?
Long-term relationship.
How long?
About 5 years now.
Nice. How old are you?
31.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, I mean, do you find that you actively listen?
As much as I can.
Okay. All right. Because I've
been listening since. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Say what you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Probably like 6 years ago, I heard the Black Phillip stuff, of course, and then followed the Beige Phillip Show.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Oh, so you've been a disciple for a long time. That's dope, man. Thank you for the support, bro. I really appreciate it. It's what I think that what I'm always trying to do, and I don't know if you noticed that about the content, is that I'm always trying to flesh out the nuance of it so that you have the answers that we didn't give. I to be honest, I don't even think we had the answers back then. I think, when we did the Black Phillip Show, we were going, something is wrong here. There's things that guys need to know, and we need to explore this. And then, but I really feel like I've got it fleshed out. I miss Patrice every day, man. I wish he was on this journey with me, but life happens. But man, I appreciate the support, dog. I mean, and if you need anything, thanks for coming in on the live. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for everybody's support, man. Thank you for your support, dog. I really, really appreciate it. If you need anything, man, I'm going live at least. I'm going live at least twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So if you need anything and you can't afford the one-on-one or whatever, or it's not that involved, you can always come in and ask, man. I appreciate you, okay?
Yeah, man, we love you. I do have one question, though.
Sure.
I remember you used to do a lot of martial arts when you were young, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you ever pick up nunchucks?
I did nunchucks a little bit, because one of the first martial arts that I took was Kyoko Shinkai, which is like Okinawan Shotokan, that's one of their weapons, like comes you know where nunchucks come from, right?
Japan.
Yeah, but do you know what it was initially used for?
I think, what was it, grain harvesting?
Yeah, to beat the rice. That's how they would harvest the rice. They would beat the rice out. So, but yeah, man, yeah, why'd you ask?
I picked up a pair and I've been beating the shit out of myself with them.
Yeah, here's something you gotta do with that. You gotta go slow. Do you know what I mean? The tendency,
Huh?
the tendency, especially like you're a youthful dude, like you're 30 or something years old, so you want to be nice right away. Just keep in mind, and this is something that I learned in terms of anything you want to do, especially martial arts. And I'll tell you what taught me this. I did judo. Have you ever done judo?
Yeah, a little bit of college.
Then yes, Patrice was funnier than Dave Chappelle. But in judo, right? Like if you I'm looking at the comments while we're going. Judo is a weird thing because in order to get, when you do a national judo competition, the only way you get your belt. So when you do a judo throw, right? I'm quite sure you're familiar with what they call an EPOM.
Yeah.
So just for anybody who doesn't know, when you throw somebody and they land on their back, like flat on their back, that's considered an ippon. In national judo competition, you have to, like if you're a blue belt and you want to go to a green belt, you got to throw a green belt. You're a blue belt, you can compete with green belts. You got to throw a green belt on his back for an ippon. Or it has to be at least an accumulative amount of, I think 1 or 2 points. It's been so long. But so there was a direct relationship to the level you were at in your belt. So it's a lot of the stuff now, and you're like Tiger Showman and some of these other things, they give you your belt based on your money. With judo was a thing where you couldn't get your belt unless you were in a national competition. If it's a national school that competes and you had to actually throw people. But the point I was going to make about it is, when you go, everybody kind of knew each other in the circuit, right? And everybody had maybe 3 throws. Like, so you know when you do judo, there's or if you take jujitsu, like Japanese jujitsu or something, there's a bunch of throws. There's hip throws and drop knee throws and trips and tamanagi and all these other throws, right? Backwards throws, forward throws. These guys they would all pick 3 throws, right? They would pick a throw where your back was to your opponent, right? They would have a throw where you would do like a tamanagi, like a front trip, kind of throwing the guy over your knee but pulling him backwards. And then they would have, just basic sweeps. But they could do those throws from multiple grips, like from the lapel, from the sleeve, from the belt, from all these different. And then they would, so if you had one throw, you would do that one throw, but you would do that throw from the hip, the belt, the back of the collar, the lapel, from the elbow, from the shoulder, and from the and from the sleeve, right? But you had 8 different grips, left side and right side. So if you did something like a drop shoulder throw, you had to be able to do that shoulder throw from both sides, left and right side, from all of those grip. So one throw would become 16 different throws, just, a variation of that one throw, but 16 different throws. The only way you could really master that is you got to just focus on it. You got to slow down and figure out the mechanics. So the same, I would apply the same things. If there's something that you're doing that you keep beating yourself on, slow down, slow the fuck down. Stop trying to toss them up and looking at that. What's that chick that does it on the TikTok? she's got she's got steel nunchucks and she's tossing them up in the air and slow down and just learn each basic movement and practice it hundreds of times. When I used to do my favorite judo throw was a drop knee shoulder throw, right? And I would take a bicycle tire, tie the bicycle tire to the doorknob, and I would just do the entries: step, step, turn, flip, step, step, turn, and I would do it hundreds of times. So if you want to stop, you don't want to end up with a black eye. Slow down, practice the mechanics until the mechanics. I mean, that's actually the way when we talk about laying the 5 bricks. That's what the point is. The point is that you take a simple thing, just like playing a compliment, and you do it so much that it becomes so ingrained in your brain that you can't, that there's no stress and no emotion in it because you've done it thousands of times, So the same thing works, okay?
All right, man.
Does that answer the question?
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dante.
And don't end up knocking yourself out. Just slow down and don't knock yourself out. Later, brother. Speak to you soon. Yeah. Man, I can't wait till I get this shit together so I can train again. I want to train so bad. Man, what are we? We're like an hour and a half in. I got the phone lines open, 929-269-4922. I think I'm gonna shut it down unless anybody's got another. Let me just go through the comments real quick. What up, Xavier? What's going on? Okay, shit, y'all want to hang out, huh? All right. Come on, God damn it.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Yo, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, I'm Adam from Philly.
What's going on, Adam? What's going on? How can I help you, family?
Hey, man, listen, bro. Okay. I used to mess with this girl, you know what I'm saying, from high school.
Okay.
And we had a good thing. We had a good thing going on. And maybe, like a few years later, we broke up, obviously.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I ran into her like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And, she's talking about, she's into Christianity.
Okay.
But I'm not with that stuff.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't with that. You know what I mean? So she's like, yeah, bless the Lord, bless you. And she's texting me, good morning. I prayed for you. I'm like, okay, stop. You know what I mean? Just stop. So I called her up. I'm like, yeah. I'm not into that. You already know. You knew me from back in the day.
Right.
And you knew how I'm not a Christian.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So just stop it. And we got into like kind of an argument. And I'm like, listen. And I literally told her, I said, listen, if you keep pushing that Christianity stuff on me, we're gonna argue over your religion.
Right.
And what I feel, I'm not religious and I'm not a Christian. I'm definitely not a Christian.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So I hung up the phone on her and she called me like 2 days later. And I'm like, listen, I'm okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you and your religion. Right. But at the same time, just don't push it on me.
Right.
So my main question is, should I still deal with this? Should I deal with this?
Okay. Here's what I'm saying. I've had situations like this. In fact, there's a young lady who I have been dated off and on for many years, and she used to do the same thing. Right. First of all, I think a lot of times, and I was talking about, I don't know if you were listening to the show earlier, and I was talking about active listening, right? When somebody says, I'll pray for you, or I bless you, or something like that, what do you think they're saying?
I think they're telling me, they're saying that that I'm wrong, and I pray for you.
Very good.
And this, that, and this.
So
Okay.
I don't think that religious people understand that, because they think that they have the higher moral ground, right? Now, what I've found is that some of them, most religious people in the world are a bunch of dirtbags. We know that. We found out about what's TD. TD Jakes was swallowed. Have you ever been swallowed? You found out that he was at the Diddy parties, right? We found out that Kurt Franklin was swinging both ways. All kinds of weird. Joel Osteen didn't even want to be a pastor until he saw the kind of money that he can make. So there's a bunch of dirtbags who are religious. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who's a dirtbag is religious, but the point is what we're talking about is when it is so external that it's performative, right? It almost feels as if, I think that's what your problem is that you feel that it's performative, right?
Yeah.
Now, did you and her smash when y'all was in high school?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, she went to my prom and I went to her prom.
Okay, and y'all smashed in the whole night, right? And so now, but what happens a lot of times is, depending on their people's surrounding, people look for something to validate them. And so when somebody says, God bless you, and all of this, and I'm going to pray for you, and all this, what they're saying is, I have the higher ground, that my life is figured out. I have figured out how this thing works, and I'm going to help you. I want to help you grow so that you can be better and you can be as good as me. First of all, and anybody, I hate to turn people off if they're religious and they're in the comments and they listen, but I'm going to be honest about it and maybe give people a perspective that they never thought. If you grew up in Iraq or Iran, right, you would be Muslim, right? You would be Muslim. If you grew up in India, you'd be Hindu. Or there's also Catholics and Hindu. But these places are highly theocracies of people where they like religion is that you don't have a choice about it. You know what I'm saying? And so what's interesting is how sure everybody is about their particular expression of their religion or whatever is right and everybody else is wrong. I say this about, even, and I maybe get in trouble for this, but when you talk about like Jews believe that they are the chosen people, right?
Right.
So if you think you're the chosen people, then what does that make? I mean, just by logic, this is what I'm talking about active listening. If you think you're the chosen people, who is everybody that's not Jewish? What does that make everybody else? If you special, then everybody else ain't special, right?
It's trash,
That's not anti-Semitic, but it is just, you are saying I'm better. God favors me. Here's the thing. I call myself an atheist, but I am a person where I have had no reasonable evidence that would make me think that a God exists. I have no problem with with accepting that if somebody could present real evidence, right? But I'm 58 years old. I've never had somebody have a reasonable, not even a reasonable argument for it, right? I've said this 100 times. I don't put my name on nothing unless I'm sure, unless I've researched it, and I've researched this. And what we're doing is faith. If you look at the definition of faith, it's a belief in something with no evidence, right?
No evidence.
When would that in society, in life, in humanity, when would that be okay? When would you ever follow somebody who has no evidence?
Yo, you know what? You mentioned Kurt Franklin and these other guys, these other people. Yeah. But I'm gonna say this. Creflo Dollar. That means to me create the flow of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, it is. I mean, and that could be, but that dude is rich. I mean, I remember dating a girl, and she was, and we're not even talking. I'm a New York cat, and she went to church up in Harlem, and they had to chip in so that her pastor could get a Bentley.
Yeah, didn't that nigga get robbed?
Well, it's a different one. Now, I mean, you talk about that. I know what you're talking about, but what I'm saying is and then even when I've dealt in situations like the Kemetic Society, there's always some dirtbag shit going on.
Kemetic.
The problem is when you give people power, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't maintain any level of integrity and any credibility. When there's no agency watching over you, that's what they do is they take advantage. In fact, it is that type of behavior is absolutely goes against everything that everything that I teach is because just because you have your ability to even if you study under me and you get a bunch of chicks, I'm still telling you, don't deceive nobody. Give women an opportunity to make a choice. If you want to smash and dash, you can smash and dash. You just can't smash and dash and and under the pretense of selling somebody a dream. Because here's what I've learned in 50 years that I've been alive: 95% of the time, a chick will go with it. They will give you what you ask for if you ask it in a way that you deserve it. The problem is when you ask for it and you don't believe that you are worthy of it. You don't say it with your chest where somebody can respect what you're saying. And women are super intuitive about what the truth is. No doubt. And when I say it's like empathy, we talk about the empathy. Every time a woman goes out with a guy, she has to decide whether this guy may not murder her. You know what I mean? And that's not something that as men we don't consider that, and we surely don't. We don't go out on a date and say, "Oh my God, she might grape me." You know what I mean? Like, in fact, we hoping in that happens. So here's the crazy thing about it. So they know what the truth is. So even when they deal with a guy who is a dirtbag, they know he's a dirtbag. They're just hoping that he's not. We got somebody calling in from what up, Job from Singapore. Holy shit. I love it.
Yeah, do your thing, bro. You gave me so much education.
So I just want to say for the record, you got to understand something. You got to say, listen, I get that this is your thing. It's not my thing. I don't mind hanging out. I don't mind spending time, but I'm not platonic. You already know. We've already smashed. We've already smashed, and I'm not interested in going to church with you. Now,
exactly.
If you,
but at the same time, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you gonna say.
No, I'm saying when I seen her, lately, she looked bad as a motherfucker.
Right.
I'm like, damn. But at the same time, I ain't with that shit though. I'm not with that overlooking bullshit. So cut it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but she also now here's something that's also the case. She might want you to give her a reason to not to do what she wants to do, and then she could blame it on you. So that's also a thing because she may not want to be accountable. And how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 51.
And
she's 50.
Nigga, she's 51, and she talking about fucking, or she's not talking about fucking?
Oh, she's talking about fucking. She seen me, I seen her, and we both like, God damn, like, you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, I don't want to push that to the side as far as like, the lust.
Well, here's what I'm saying. You banged the phone on her already, right?
Oh yeah, and
And
then she called me back.
yeah, so she's trying to get it, son. This is
Okay.
an older woman
Okay.
that's trying to. She's looking for an excuse to do the dirt. And if she's not saying I'm celibate, I don't want to have sex. She's not saying that, right?
Right. No, not
yeah,
at all.
Yeah, so she's full of shit, dog. She's looking for an excuse, and I would say this, because if you give her the excuse and you smash, right, then as soon as it goes left or she starts feeling guilty, she's gonna blame you. You made me this, you ... And so all you gotta do is go look. All you gotta do is listen. I like you. I'm not into this religion shit. I'm not going to church with you. If you want to hang out, you want to have some laughs, you want to hook up, we could do that. I'm not about this.
Right.
I'm not about this platonic shit. So what do you want to do? And if she's not, because here's the thing. If at 50 years old, come on, you know what I'm saying? Look, I ain't gonna lie. I don't care how bad she is. Nobody's buying no 50-year-old pussy.
Stop it. Yo,
I've never seen somebody go, yo, I want to get a new car. I'm looking for a 1983 Toyota with 300,000 miles on it.
Right.
Even if you tell me, oh, it got 200,000 miles, but it's all highway and the engine is pristine, it's still an 83 Corolla with 200,000 miles on it. The most you're gonna say, wow, this 83 Corolla rides surprisingly smooth. That's what you. But nobody's so like if she's 50, this is her way of kind of revalidating herself because was she married or something like that or no?
Was she married?
Yeah, was she married and divorced and then?
No. She wasn't married, but she got 2 kids though.
Yeah, dog.
You know
like, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop. And she never married. She never married the guy that she had the 2 kids with.
No, she got a kid by one guy and another guy.
Oh, she got 2 baby. Like, shut up. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Now you want to be holy. Now you.
Exactly.
Stop.
No doubt, bro.
And if you listen, here's the thing. I'd say this to anybody. If I've had, and I don't know how long you've been listening to my content, but I always listen. Trust me. Back in the days, I used to have this white chick that used to co-host the show. This chick Mara Merrick, and she kind of conned me into, because this is when social media first started and YouTube, and she was like, "Oh, I know social media," so I hired her, right? And she banged the phone on me. That is the last time she was on the show, and that is the last time anybody heard of her. Because
I gotta check it out. Okay, go ahead.
So because it's such a disrespectful thing. Now I'm not saying that I'm not judging you for banging the phone on her, because you should, first of all, let me say this. You should never be so angry that you allow somebody to get you emotional like that. So that's the first thing. You should, your actions and your things that you should always be intentful. And you being composed and being intentful is always is better for you than it is for everybody else. And not only that, there's never a woman that won't respect that. So if a woman is jumping out the window, you go, listen, this is best we just don't talk. And then you go, I'm going to go now, and you hang up the phone. You don't want to be like, there's times when I emotionally get out of hand. Not often, but when I do, I'm mad at myself for allowing, because when people talk about getting simped, right? That the chick is controlling you by, you giving up money, whatever. But it works the other way too. If you're so mad that somebody's trying to control you, and you get mad because she's trying to control you, it's the same thing. It's the other side of the coin. It's that somebody is instituting control over you, even though it's on the other way. Even though you angry and you banging the phone, so you got to maintain your stoicism and your control. And speak with intent. So always, and the only way you can speak, this is what I was talking about earlier. You speak with intent, and the only way you can speak with intent is if you're actively listening to what somebody's saying. Then and take a pause. You don't gotta Don't be emotional, because if you're emotional, you're moving, you're talking too quick, and you don't get it right. So what you got to do is you say, hey, listen, I understand that you're in this place where this is important to you. It is not important to me. I don't even believe in none of that. I don't know if you believe that there's a God or not, but I go, listen, I'm an atheist. I don't even believe that. I have no problem with respecting you. I have no problem with you pursuing whatever you think that validates you. But as far as this goes, this stops. If you're yelling it, nobody hears that.
Yeah.
But if you
if
you speak it quietly and intentful, and then she still disrespects it, then you have another thing to look at. You know that this woman doesn't respect you or anybody else. But when you're yelling and she's yelling, right?
Right.
Then
See, the thing is, I was sipping. You know what I'm saying? So she was pissing me off, and I was sipping. And I wasn't yelling, but I was trying to dominate the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I was like, yeah, fuck out of here. Fuck you. And then I click.
Yeah, dog. You know what I'm saying? You go. It's so, how much cooler. It was like, listen, I'm just not, I'm going to go now. I do this. I'm going to go now. And what do you mean? Where you going? I'm just not really interested in what you're saying. And you go, well, what do you mean by that? I go, just what you're saying just doesn't have any validity to me, and my time is important. I think it's best that I don't want to waste my time. Now, what does she say to that?
Yeah, she can't say nothing to that. That's intelligent.
And it's not brutal. You just being honest. But that goes back to Ace. You're just being honest. I mean, and even when you're in a situation where you're talking to somebody and they're angry and they're emotional, and you go, listen, when somebody does, like, how like sometimes somebody will say some slick shit, or like, oh, so really, or blah, blah, blah. And I would go, and the truth of it is, look, you're being sarcastic, you have an attitude. I understand that you have an attitude. Is something wrong? Because if there's something wrong, we could talk about it. Because here's the thing, us arguing, there's never a situation where two people are yelling at each other and then it doesn't get resolved. That never, it doesn't make it better. It doesn't resolve it. And even, let's say, for instance, I'm on a different program. I have a different agenda. Right? If I tell you that my agenda is different than you want something else, it's cool. I go, okay, no problem. We just don't sync up. We're not on the same page. I wish you all the luck in the world, and you move on, and I go smash somebody else. But if I'm angry because we're on a different agenda, we're yelling back and forth, right? Nothing gets resolved. Now, even if we are on the same page and we arguing, I don't feel better arguing with you. She don't feel better for being a cunt, right? It doesn't make her feel any better, and we've just wasted time and energy when we could either say, what is the problem? What are you looking what are you looking from me? And you could say, I can do that, or I can't do that. So if you're saying I'm 50 years old and I'm just not interested in this at all, and I understand whatever you think is necessary for you, I'm not involved. Now, if you want to hang out, she's 50. If I'm talking to some 50-year-old, I'm straight up asking for some, like, look, you want to fuck around, spend some time together and have some laughs, I'm fine. I'm not going to your choir. I'm not going to your church function. I'm not going to church with you. But if you want to hang out and you want to drink some of this Hennessy, and we can do that. But
yo, bro, I appreciate you, man.
Okay,
I'm listening. I'm absorbing what you're telling me.
But just
bro.
you have to. Get it. The sexiest thing in the world is that a woman will find is a guy that's in control. He's in control of he's in control of his emotions.
Okay.
Because if you're not in control with your emotion, then you're just a bitch. And nobody want to fuck another bitch is either another dude or a lesbian.
Yo, that's crazy. Because like I said earlier to you, you know what I'm saying? I was saying, when I got to the argument, I was sipping. Yeah. So I became the bitch. But at the same time, she called me back.
Yeah, well,
You know what I'm saying?
because she sees value in it, but it's still a negotiation. You got to have the negotiation, and you got to speak up, and you got to be honest about what you want. Just understand what your non-negotiables are, and then never negotiate them. Okay?
Yo, that's what I was telling her. I'm like, no, I'm not with that shit. So don't try to put it on me. You tripping?
But if you say I'm not, if you got to understand something, if you say something once, and they re-up and come at you again, what do they communicate? I don't give a fuck about what you say. I want you to do what I want you to do. Fuck how you feel. I'm doing what I want you to do. If you got a wife and you married you got a girlfriend or wife, and you go, look, hey, listen, the sex, we ain't having enough sex. And that don't change. Right. You know what she's saying? Fuck you. I'm not fucking you no more. I don't want to.
Oh shit.
The actions communicate what the point. The subtext of the actions is what communicates. Okay.
Wow. Yo, goddamn. Yo, man, you my nigga, bro.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, kid.
Yeah, I appreciate you 100%. Trust me.
All right.
Like I said, I'm absorbing exactly what you told me from like the beginning of the phone call, man.
Hold on. Big shouts to Xavier, Karina. Thank you for the $5 on the CashApp. Send me some money, y'all.
I got you.
All right.
I got you, bro.
All right, family.
Peace.
Shut that down. I'm going to leave the phone lines open, but I got to go. I absolutely got to go through all these comments real quick. Let's go. Card says, I'm a few minutes behind. Dante put on a master's class on the first call. Dude sounds like a great guy. He'll be back better than ever. I Am a Legend has the movie Hitch. It's based on Dante. And you tell Patrice, I said, I'm sorry, because to tell you the truth, Patrice is funnier than Dave Chappelle. Absolutely. Y'all ain't going to let me get off tonight, huh? All right, fuck it. I'll go till y'all stop. Let's see. Is that it? Okay. Bam.
To accept.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Dante, it's Anthony. I'm calling from East Coast.
What's going on, and how can I help you, bro?
Real quick, you mentioned you shutting it down, so let's make it quick. You talk about today was the Black Phillip Show was brought up, and you mentioned a lot. Like let's not exist in the past. It's 2025. This is 2008.
Right.
What can we take from the Black Phillip Show that, in your opinion, that is not outmoded, outdated, obsolete?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say that because of the fact that it was part of me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. It's like what you're asking me. How old are you?
32.
All right. So if you're 32, if I asked you, what did you know when you were 15 that you still think is valid at 32? You feel what I'm saying?
Nothing.
Like how would you answer that? Like because you're just being and you're evolving in time. Like time is linear, but it's constantly moving. The past is what the future was. So what I would say is in terms of my my assessment of it, because I don't listen to it. You know what I mean? It was like I was there, and there were things that I was talking about at that point that I just wouldn't espouse. I think that the climate of how we see. I mean, let's be honest, Doug. When the Me Too shit went down, right? There was a lot of dudes panicking, but Doug, if you was a righteous dude, right, you couldn't imagine the shit that they was doing, that motherfuckers was doing. Like, who would have thought Harvey Weinstein, this motherfucker under the bridge troll, was just coming out with his fucking naked in his bathrobe? You know what I mean? It's like I don't know if you remember Matt Lauer. Do you remember? You know who Matt Lauer is?
I do, but I don't remember what the accusation was.
Well, he was a news guy. This dude had a grape button. Like he had a dude install a button on his desk, so when the chicks came in, he hit the button and the door would lock.
Damn.
So what I'm saying.
Crazy.
So now think about that in 2006. What motherfuckers was doing in 2006. That's when we did the first Black Phillip in 2006. Imagine what the climate was at that point. Right. So it's so different now, dog. If just stuff I wouldn't even say. You know what I mean? In mixed company, there's shit that I wouldn't even say to my man. You know, if even when they talk about locker room talking where dudes be talking to each other, even in there's things that I would have said back then jokingly that I wouldn't even say jokingly when somebody's not looking. Right. You feel me? Because because we've learned and we've evolved and stuff, which is really, I mean, the brother was just talking about religion. It's interesting because, if you're religious and you look in the Bible, the Bible advocates slavery.
When stoning people to death, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, like dog, if you look at the story of Noah's Ark. That was that story. Now, I don't believe it happened, but let's be honest. That was the genocide. Like people are talking about Palestine and genocide, right? That was the genocide of the entire world. God was like, y'all fucking up. I'm drowning everybody. Pregnant women, babies, men, old people, animals, everybody. Y'all fucked up. And somebody would go, yeah, but did we all fuck up? I don't give a fuck. We starting fresh. So here we are protesting about genocide, right? And genocide is advocated in the morality of biblical morality is advocates the extinction of the whole population by drowning them to death, right? And so you understand what I'm saying? So we evolve and we become more sophisticated. So when you ask me a question like that, I don't even know. There's so much that I wouldn't even say now. I would have to listen to it and decipher through it. But I think the stuff that we're comfortable with, that the stuff that's applicable now, I think I talk about it anything. I don't know. Is there anything? Well, I guess I could ask you because you're asking the question. Is there anything that I talk about now that we talked about then?
Well, to be fair, I think Patrice was an abrasive dude. You were less abrasive. But I think you both touched on the point of honesty. Yeah. Right? Like maybe in a more abrasive sense 20 years ago, but there was still a level of like presenting yourself authentically that was
authentically. Also, let me tell you something. I honestly believe that Patrice was abrasive because he wasn't the best looking guy and he didn't get laid until he really got famous. Right. So he was mad at bitches for treating him like trash and not looking deeper into who he was as a man. Right. But to be honest,
by the way,
he also simped in that way.
Yeah, because I think you touched on that as well. And I actually wanted to ask, I've been wanting to ask you this for a while. Jeffrey Gurian.
He's full of shit.
Okay, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Because I was under the impression, like, I don't know if you remember, like, Danny.
Yeah.
Like, he had mentioned, like, on a message board, he was saying, like, Jeffrey Gurian was, like, full of shit. And he was, like, just bringing escorts on the Black Phillip Show.
Yeah, he was. Like well, I know actually a manager that manages porn stars and stuff like manages escorts and porn stars. She actually does popular, and he like locked the chick in the car and told her she couldn't leave, and the girl, like real weirdo shit. Real weirdo shit. Yeah, he was really a predator, and to the point where I don't really like, I still see him around every once in a while, but I, what's up, and I keep it moving because he's just such a blatant liar, right? And 90% of the chicks that he brought through, they wasn't even fucking with him. You know, and if he did, he got them predatorily. Nobody was volunteering because he was so that his game was so tight. He was full of shit. So say again. Say again. I can't really hear you. I can't hear you. Now you sound like something happened to the phone. Was you on a microphone or speakerphone or something? Or Bluetooth?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
So like all that stuff is like she just had just a wonderful energy, and I noticed her across the room. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, he's full of shit though. I mean, I don't, I think fucking Patrice was more, more enamored about who he was than I was, because I was like, yeah, this is funky. There's something wrong with this guy. It's funky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's an important lesson, right? Like nobody's perfect. Nobody has perfect discernment.
Yeah, and he was 100% fraud. So all fraud. So. Yeah, and so I mean, we evolve, and I mean, where does that come from? I mean, you're 30 something now. When you're 40 something, you won't go, well, what was I doing? You know what I'm saying? You live and learn, and it's a gradual thing. I mean, Doug, I'm learning. I'm still learning.
Right.
Right. I mean, my son is in England, away from me, right? But I know we don't fight, and it's good for my son, but we don't. We not fucking around either. It's like, and I probably know how I could get that, but it just would complicate the whole situation more.
Yeah.
So you live and learn, man. You learn to let go, and you make mistakes and you lose sometimes, but losing is just it's a byproduct of learning. It's like anybody that I do consultations with, I'm going, yo, you gonna fuck this up.
Right.
If I'm taking you through the system and we're doing consultations, DanteNero.com, click on consult. We're doing consultations and we're working on the first phase, and you hook up with a chick, like I had a dude I just did a consultation. He hooked up with a chick. He was like, I'm going out on this date and da 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 da. And, what do? I give him some pointers. I said, but you do understand you're going to fuck this up, right?
Now, is that a guarantee?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Let's say you play basketball?
Occasionally.
Okay. Let's say tomorrow you get picked by some weird opportunity. You get put on the fucking Golden State Warriors. Right? And it just happens to be playoffs. What's the chances of you going to get this right? What's the chances of you go out there and win the game with the final shot?
0.0 rebounds, 0 steals. Yeah,
0 play time, 0. You got, like I'm a Giants. I'm not really any fan, but if I had to say I'm a Giants fan. In the year that the Giants won the Super Bowl and caught that pass on his helmet, you gotta do that 100s of times in practice in order to be able to do it in a game.
Right, you got to catch the ball normally thousands of times.
You got to catch it but that off the helmet catch, you got to do that 100 times to be able to do it under the pressure of the game at the time where you're like, you got to not have emotion, have a seat at the table, and you got to literally be able to do that where your body is working on remote. So why would we think that dating and relationships is not the same thing?
Right.
Now, the better you get when you make the mistakes, if you internalize the lessons and stuff, you can always pick up the pieces, Mm-hmm. Like, even if I make a mistake or something, it ain't a mistake because I know, blah, 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 flip it around, this, whatever, or apologize.
Right.
And even if I apologize, I'm like, I apologize. And if she still beats it, I'm just like, okay, then we should just end this.
Yeah.
And and you move the fuck on. And if they don't want to give you an opportunity, you see, you're so dope that even when they don't want to give you an opportunity, you know who's losing.
Right.
I don't know if you've been listening since the beginning, but you got to do with a business. 18, 20 people working under him. He gave this 30-year-old, this 20-year-old girl a job, brought her in the home, takes her on trips, this, that, yeah. She has a whole career. She got some chick, her girlfriend is telling her, he's too controlling, you need to leave, while she's just getting married and she's getting ready to leave that to go out in these streets with these wolves. And we know, we have friends that have everybody on this live has got dirtbags that we know.
Yeah.
Scoundrels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't get it, man. Once that ceiling is, once that roof is gone, it's a whole different story.
Yo,
man.
And then when he's telling me that she left from her mother's house into his house, so she got no idea.
Yeah.
I remember when I moved out of my mom's house, and then I remember I had to go take a shit, and I went in the cabinet and didn't have no toilet paper, and I realized, oh shit, you gotta buy toilet paper.
Yeah, it's real.
Usually it's just. I just thought. I mean, I didn't think that, but I thought it was just in the closet, right? You know, and then you got to decide whether you're gonna get a can of sardines or a roll of toilet. The world is cold and cruel, and a lot of times especially a guy who's in love with somebody, he's gonna shield his lady from that and make sure she's good.
Yeah.
You go out in them streets. Them streets is cold, boy. It ain't fun. And I mean, there's a possibility she might scoop some winner up that doesn't lie, doesn't cheat. But look, even somebody who's got a business, right, and got a business and scoops her up, you think she could just do what the fuck she want to do?
It's gonna be the same situation. So
or you think he's making a couple $100,000, got a business with 18 workers, and he's not smashing somebody. He was waiting around for some 32-year-old woman. Like, nigga, come on, stop. I don't know if you heard the dude just talking to me. He hooked up with this girl. She's 50 years old, and now she found God. She's trying to re-virginize herself. But me, like, bitch, you got 2 baby fathers. Stop. You make bad decisions.
Yeah.
Should I assume that you don't make bad decisions no more? Probably not. It's possible, but it ain't probable. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. I'll speak to you.
Okay. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna open the lines up because I feel like I just want to read the comments before we go. Let me see. And if I get a call, I will take it, but y'all gonna try and keep me on. Thanks. Matthew just sent it. Thanks. Great advice. I'm scheduling some one-on-ones. Thank you, Matthew. Don't forget, y'all, sign up for the Patreon also, the patreon.com/manschool202. Integrity is what you do when nobody is watching. Absolutely. Women can smell a lie. Yes, the Wyatt says, y'all don't want me to go to bed tonight. I ain't mad. Come on now. Let's go.
To accept.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, what's Stockton, New Jersey? What's going on, Dante?
What's going on, bro? How can I help you, baby?
I wanted to reach out to you. We did a consultation a couple months ago. I really appreciate you for that because I don't want to be lying no more. So that's definitely something that you helped me come to.
Wait. Talk up a little louder. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. Big shout to Ian Blackwell Sr. of $9.99 on the super chat. Send me some money. I remember your voice. I'm not sure if I remember. Dwight Christian says girls have cooties. But I remember you having a problem. I'm not sure what the problem was. Can you
So it was you was able to like break it down.
Wait, you sound are you on a speakerphone or something?
Yeah, you need me to take it off?
Yeah, talk right into the phone so I can hear you.
Yeah, I got you. So it was a couple things. So once it became social anxiety, we was talking about that.
Hold on. Are you talking in the phone? Because I can't hear you still.
You still can't hear me?
Yeah, but you got to talk right into the phone, dog.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So it stemmed from like me having a coaching anxiety. So that was something that was messing with me. Then
You said, damn, dog, I can't hear you. Go ahead. Call me back, and I'll pick it up because it sounds muffled. Somebody said, I bet Von DeCarlo saw right through his shit. Von DeCarlo got enough of her own shit going on. So, let's see what else. Walter White, thoughts on the effect of OnlyFans on modern day. OnlyFans, Walter, my OnlyFans is a funny thing because OnlyFans, like there's always been people pimping, you know what I mean? That's always been the case. Hold on, let me take this off. Hold on. OnlyFans is always women have always been sex workers and stuff like this. The OnlyFans just gave women an opportunity to do it without the control of a man, and they're doing it from their bedroom. They don't need a pimp. They don't need somebody to keep them safe or nothing like that. And so I mean, look, nothing changes, man. It's the same soup warmed over, right? It's the same soup warmed over, but it's just with technology. Technology facilitates the same patterns that we've always had, just in a different way. So now, I've always said this, that, if you talk about pimping, right, there's certain girls that want to be pimped. And the proof in that is that even when they didn't get picked up at a bus station or been pimped on the street or turned out or whatever, they're doing it from their home. They're doing it right from their home. And it's even more available to them because they don't have to deal with the shame of it, of being sought out.
To accept, press 1.
Women are selling booty and right from home. They got a mail order business now. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Scott, calling back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what up, Scott? Yeah, that sounds much better.
Okay, bro, I had to use my headphones. My phone broke up.
All right. Shit, I lost him. Call back, Scott. I lost you again. I'm waiting to hear from you. Yeah, Jeffrey was full of shit. Modern day quarter. OnlyFans, a modern day quarter machine in the. Yeah, I mean, people are doing this, but the same people are doing the same things, man. Some women want to make their living on their back, and you ain't gonna change that. Scott, what's your name? Wait, Scott, that you?
It's Scott. Yeah, can you hear me? My phone.
Yeah. Go ahead. It's all right. What's going on, baby?
Yeah, so recently I've been doing the 5 bricks. I'm gonna get right to it. I've been doing the 5 bricks.
Yeah.
And I was looking to schedule another consultation. I want to do at least 30 days straight just to bring some stuff to the conversation. But it's just like I keep copping out. It's just I get in the mode of it, but then I can't be consistent with the way it continues because I would say I have some type of doubt when doing it. Like it just becomes a struggle.
Yeah, it's a struggle. All right, let's talk about this. Why is it a struggle? Let's talk about why is it a struggle.
So one thing I would say, when we talked about it before, is being present. So like I would see a woman walking.
Okay, stop. You're going around the point. Here's what it is. There's only 2 things that it could be. Either you're afraid to do it because you don't want to be rejected, or you're lazy. It's one or the other. So understand something. Let's say I'm your physical trainer, but I'm your physical trainer for dating, right? If I tell you to go to the gym every day, I need you to walk on the treadmill, and I give you a regimen, and you don't do it, right? Guess what happens? Nothing gets fixed. So I not, Scott, do I understand that you might have some fear about rejection, or you might have fear about, what it takes. And yes, I never said, I said it's simple, but it's not easy. But it's not easy because it's not really hard. Dog, I'm asking you to start out, just go, I love your hair. That's a cool jacket. Those are nice shoes. Your nails are not, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all I need you to do is just believe what you're saying.
Okay.
It ain't hard, but it's hard if you're afraid that what's going to happen if I say this? What's going to happen if I do this? What is her response going to be? What is, that? So we got to be, when I say talk about authenticity and telling the truth, right? That's not just you telling the truth to every chick that you talk to. It's about you telling the truth to yourself. The bottom line is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The bottom line is, this is what you need to do, Scott. If you don't do it, it will not change. Now you can fuck around for the next 5 years and say, I'm not motivated. I'm not, but you and I both know that's bullshit. You either afraid to see what the response is. You afraid somebody gonna chop your head off, or you're too lazy to go do it.
Yeah, but that's the first one. So it's like, how do you get over that then? Because I think
you
about
do
the
it.
worst
You just gotta do it. You do it. You play video games?
Not anymore, but yeah.
But you play video games, right?
Yeah.
Okay, when you on the first board, right? It's if you play, say you play Mortal Kombat. When you on the first board, it's easy, right? But as it goes, it gets more difficult. But what happens is it gradually increases the difficulty so to keep you involved, right? If you ever play a game that's so hard that you just stop playing, like you start playing and you keep dying and dying and dying and dying and dying, that you stop playing the game.
Yeah.
Well, those games are not built right because it needs to be gradual so that you feel some sense of accomplishment. And because you feel some sense of accomplishment, you continue. And then by the time you get to the final boss, right, think about the intricacy of pushing buttons that you do. You doing circular swirls on the keypad. There's this, there's that. You hitting the button, click, 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 click. Or if you play Madden, I remember I was trying to play Madden. I hadn't been playing Madden since like Madden 5. If you try to play Madden 5, you can't play with these kids who, like, I can't play somebody who's been playing Madden. No, there's audibles and there's all, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But what you gotta do is you gotta learn the basics. Same thing I said about the nunchucks. Oh, shout out to the dude with the nunchucks. Somebody say get the foam ones. I don't know if I would do that because you want the danger. Just slow down and work it out because the foam ones will get you reckless. But this is just something that you got to do. And when you tell me I can't really get it, what you're saying is I don't want to work out. I'm not willing to make the sacrifice. And trust me, Scott, I'm not mad at you because because I'm not mad at you and I'm not even disappointed. I get it's scary to everybody. I'm just gonna give you I'm gonna be the uncle that gives you the straight dope. If you don't do it, you fucked. 5 years from now, your situation is gonna be this guy's same goddamn situation. So you don't got no choice.
Yeah.
Either do it or don't.
You right. You got it. Yeah, I got you.
Shit, my body count is up. It's always been up. Like if you don't want if you don't want it, then I'm not mad at you. But I will have the honesty and the integrity and the empathy to say, dog, if you don't do it, it's really simple. What am I really asking you to do? Have you ever you have done it, right?
Yeah, I did it for a week straight.
Is it really that hard? Tell me. And if you did it the first day, when you did it the 5th day, wasn't it easier?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have anxiety, and so you quit.
Yeah.
I don't care about your anxiety, dog. Shut up.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up and do it. or
You're right.
not. You feel me?
Yeah. So that's the two options.
The whole, it's set up so that you do overcome your fears. That's why it's easy. You know, it's set. I'm not even asking you to get the number. All you gotta do is say nice shoes. If she has nice shoes, I love your sneakers. I love your dunks. You got pretty nails. Your makeup looks awesome. Your hair's nice. That's a cool jacket. That's a dope Wonder Woman vintage shirt. You know what I'm saying? It's really, I'm not asking you to in fact, I'm telling you not to hold a conversation. I'm telling you to just do that. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's all. I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna hit you up in 30 days for that consultation.
All right, how did that little problem you had? Didn't you have a problem with some chicken?
Nah.
Okay. All right, I'll holler.
All right, bet.
Get it done, man. Get the work done.
I got you. Appreciate you. Keep kicking that game. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. All right, let me try and finish these comments so I can get off. I can't wait to get back to the gym for my happiness and my health. Shout out. Spirit Tonight says, we all get lazy. I used to date, who is this? Walter White says, I used to date 7s and 8s in high school. More than half of my exes have OnlyFans now. There's women that I would never give the time of day, and now they won't give me the time of day. Yeah, whatever. But do you want somebody that's really, that's how they're making their money? I mean, I'm not judging it, but come on, there's consequences to that, you know? I mean, one of my favorite porn chicks, what's this chick? This little skinny chick. Her name is Riley Reid, right? She's a beast. She is a monster. But man, I saw an interview with her, and she talked about how none of her family talks to her. Nobody wants a relationship with her. So like, there's consequences. So you know, it's all good when she's greased up in thigh highs and getting plowed by 8 dudes. But where is her life after this? Because she's made these choices, and people are going, yeah, I don't really want to be around somebody who I don't want to hang out with somebody who's, you know, who looks like a glazed donut. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Brian Anderson says, my wife is not wanting to give it up as much. You got to have a conversation, dog. It has to be the non-negotiables, and you got to have a conversation. You got to talk about this is a need, and it needs to be because it needs to be dealt with. Otherwise, but the question is it so important that if not,
press 1.
you're willing to end the marriage, you know? What's your name? Where you calling from, family?
Calling from Waco, Texas.
Oh, dope. What's going on, bro? I was just in Houston. Or should I say Houston?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Should I say Houston or Houston?
Oh, for what?
Huh? I went to see, I'm in a fraternity, and one of my fraternity brothers, he got indoctrinated. He got initiated. So I went down there to see him. So what's going on though, brother? How can I help you?
Yeah, man. I was the one Walter White talking about like OnlyFans and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. But let me ask you this. Here's my question. Let's say one of them, let's say one of them was interested in you, right? And so they got an OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
Would you marry her? Would you want to have kids with her?
I'd fuck with her.
Yeah, but would you want a relationship with her in a real, like, you feel what I'm saying? Or would you just want to smash and dash? Walter, would you?
I guess is that more or less like pertaining to like the question of like these chicks that I used to be able to get like aren't the kind of chicks that I would go for now.
I don't know, but my question is, if you got some chick and she's spreading and taking dick on OnlyFans, is that somebody you would want to, you know what I'm saying? Would you bring her to the family reunion and with the possibility that somebody, because here's what happens. I don't know if you noticed it, but on OnlyFans, a lot of these OnlyFans chicks, they're putting their stuff on what you call it, on Pornhub and all these other porn to make money from the views off of that now. So like a lot of the OnlyFans chicks who would never be porn stars if they had to actually go through the business and get interviewed. They're doing it on their own for the extra money, and then those things are bleeding out onto regular porn sites. My question is, you might want to smash and dash, but is that somebody you want to introduce? You know, you want somebody to kiss your mother on her birthday? Oh, this is my girlfriend.
Well, I think it's kind of different now because like it used to be just like any chick just doing it for whatever reason, mainly because of money. Like, don't get me wrong, but and that still is the main reason. But for some fucking women, that reason is a hell of a lot more valid, and like especially in nowadays with like how like especially with the economy and shit and how everything's going. Like I can't blame them. I'm not blaming them. Like I have no hate. Like honestly,
okay.
like get your money up. But
that's not the question I asked. Is that somebody you would want to be with, have kids with, and then have your son or daughter go to school and her shit's floating on Pornhub, and then they be like, yo, we seen your mom's on Pornhub?
I think it's more or less of a question for them.
Yeah, but it's more of if you have kids, you're gonna make decisions that you're not.
I can get mad at it. I can have my own like opinion about it and everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Doesn't mean it's entirely wrong. I understand, but like it takes two to tango. You know, it's the same way as like when a chick gets with a dude, has a kid, and then like he ends up leaving her, and then everybody blames her. You know, so it's like where the blame goes, it can't always just go in one direction.
Understand? That's not what the question is. Listen, let me say something. Have you ever dated an 800-pound woman?
Fuck no.
Well, now you see how definitive you are with that question. Why not?
I mean, I've dated bigger women, but I ain't got no 800 pounds. Have you?
But my point is, you have a preference, right?
Everyone.
Okay, everybody has a preference. So if you don't have a problem with these OnlyFans chicks, if you don't have a problem with what they do and it's fine with you, I'm not. Trust me, you understand that I'm not judging that. What I'm saying is. I don't want to be with somebody who is actively fucking dudes for money, right? And I don't want to have kids with that person where I go, all right, I'm going to the comedy club, and she going, well, I'm going to fuck this dude. I'm not judging it. And there are guys who do it. I'm just saying, for me, I'm good. Right? So I'm not judging it. I mean, get your money up, do whatever you got to do. But if this is your lifestyle, this is what you do, I'm not fucking with you.
Okay, well, I guess because I've been constantly trying to get to a point that I guess we got off on the wrong foot of. I'm not my whole argument isn't that I want to get with every OnlyFans chick. And even then, every OnlyFans chick isn't fucking dudes on the video. I'll go out on a limb and say most of them are just fucking, flicking their bean on the fucking camera.
Okay, so here's my thing. So what the question is, because these chicks are OnlyFans, now they wouldn't give you an opportunity. Is that what you're saying?
No, more or less, I guess I'll go back to my original comment that I made that you took the time to actually read and respond to, and I thank you for that.
Yeah. We family, dude. I don't know how long you've been listening, but we family. If you on here with me,
Oh, dude, like
I'll fucks
I
with
caught
you.
on to Patrice, so I'm sorry, and take your flame from you like that.
Nah,
but
it's
like
whatever.
I caught
I
on to
get it.
Patrice, I want to say like a good 5-6 years ago, and
Yeah.
I've known about you basically the same amount of time,
Yeah.
And so
what I'm saying is, but what is the question? So what is the question?
My question is more or less just like your opinion on like if it's like truly affected like modern dating today, because I know like I don't know how old you are. I don't want to question.
I'm 58. I'm 58.
58. All right. You're still looking good for 58.
Thank you, brother.
I'll give you
Appreciate
that.
you. Appreciate you.
Black never crack, right?
I don't know about that, but I hope not. Sometimes I feel like it's cracking as we speak. But go ahead. But you're saying what? Is there a difference in what? Like
I guess it's more or less. Maybe I'm just like asking the wrong person, because it's
no. Just
modern day dating is
the
nothing
question.
like.
That's not true. You're wrong. Modern day dating is the same way it always was. There are elements of it that's different. People do it. People meet online. People are on this. There's an element of space. There's an element of social media. There's this. There's that, and all those things give a different variable to it. My question is, you got to ask me what's the question. Don't you can ask me whatever you want to ask me, dog. I mean, I'm an open book. Just ask the question. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Hold on. I'm sorry, man.
All right. Ask me the question. What's the question you want to ask?
Man, I called in full confidence thinking that I was going to come on here a little bit different, but I don't know. You still fucking completely stumped me. But
I mean, you had it. Well, what did you think? What was your intention when you come? When you thought you was gonna tell me?
It was just hearing you out, just getting
but you're still in
your full opinion on the matter, itself.
Listen to me.
A hand.
Ask the question. What is the question?
Do you think that dating has changed at all because of the rise of OnlyFans?
Yeah. I think that a lot of women are working in sex work differently because of OnlyFans, because it's an opportunity, because they can do it. At least they think they could do it with a level of anonymity. But let me ask you this: do you know what the average woman makes on OnlyFans monthly?
How much?
$150. You better off going to McDonald's. You better off working at McDonald's. The point is, there are women who want to make a living on their back, right? And OnlyFans allows it to be that, because you can do it from the privacy of your own home. So what do you think? Let me ask you this question, and you answer this question. What do you think is different? About dating? What do you think is different?
I'll say the ability the actual ability to do such thing. Because before, it wasn't as, I would say, offerable to everybody.
Are you talking about OnlyFans? You're talking about sex work?
Yeah. At least when it comes to the online, and it being more or less mainstreamed, I guess.
But here's my thing. If you are okay with it, right? And since the beginning of time, dog, there's been porn stars, Jenna Jameson, old school porn stars that been around, and they got husbands, right? I used to work with a PR person that used to work with porn stars and do public relations for porn stars. So I know a lot of them. I met a lot of them. A lot of them are married. Some of them are relationships. I would say this: most of them, unless the guy is actually into like the whole cuckold thing, right? Most of them have a hard time with relationships because I think it is the nature of men to be a little more possessive. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that there's people.
You hit on that twice of me being a fucking cuckold, and I really don't appreciate it.
No. Wait. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying there are men who have married porn stars.
I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but that ain't me. What I'm saying is like it's been so mainstreamed that now most dudes would have to do that.
Okay, look, no, they don't. So do you think everybody's on OnlyFans? You think every chick you know is on OnlyFans?
I want to say most of the ones that are probably worth the fucking damn when it comes to at least being who they are.
That's not true, dog. That's not true. Listen, let me say something. Somebody who is, I'm going to tell you, inherently, somebody who's doing OnlyFans sees their body as a value, right? And and they market their value. I mean, if you get a woman and she thinks that her brain or her mind or whatever is more valuable, she won't do OnlyFans. Some do, some don't. Everybody's not making millions of dollars doing it. Everybody's not making tens of thousands of dollars. Everybody's not making hundreds of dollars doing it. So here's the thing, but I think there's this misnomer as if but back up. I gotta rewind. Because if you think in any way that I'm talking about you being a cuckold, all we are is on a phone call. There's no way I could know that. I understand your point. You're saying that it is so prevalent and there's so many women that are involved in it and so on and so forth that it becomes more mainstream. I'm saying I'm not, and even if you was into that, that's none of my business. I have no right to judge any of it.
I picked up on your comedic tendencies, and like I could tell that you were trying to like get to that. Dude.
Actually, I wasn't even, because especially when somebody calls me to ask my opinion, and this is something that they're really asking a question, I wouldn't even play with you like that, because I wouldn't want you to feel uncomfortable about where you can't talk to me honestly. And there's and I'm also feel that if you're calling me and you're asking me this question, guarantee you that somebody is thinking the same question that you're asking, right? That is afraid to call up and ask. So there's no way that I want you to feel uncomfortable, or I'm gonna tease you or make you feel funny about what the fuck, because I first of all, I respect and I appreciate the question, but I keep asking you the question. The point is, if you're okay, if you feel that it's so mainstream that it doesn't matter, who am I to judge that? You know what I'm saying? I have a friend of mine, comic friend of mine, Kenny Josephs. He will not sleep with anybody who's not at least 300 pounds. He is 5'2", right? Maybe 135 pounds, but he just loves big women. If you shapely and got a six pack and he look right past you.
God bless him.
And I'm not knocking him. I mean, that's what he likes. And how dope is it that he can like what he? It is clear if you listen to old Black Phillip. Clearly, everybody knows I got a thing for little women, for little people. I love me a hot little midget. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
I think I eerily remember that's kind of coming back.
So, dog, who am I to tell you what the fuck you like or what? You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you is, and I mean, if you look at my Instagram is littered with hot little midgets, right? I don't know. I mean, why does somebody like chocolate ice cream and like or vanilla ice cream? You know what I'm saying? Like it just is. So you don't shame anybody for that. So I'm not. I don't. If you thought I was shaming you, I'm not. What I would say is this: I think you got to own it, and okay. But if you're saying, but I'm going to tell you something, and this is my God's honest truth. I have interviewed. Me and Harry used to interview because of the public relations lady I'm tight with. She has a whole bunch of stripper, not stripper, but porn star clients, right? Dog, I had to tell her I don't want to interview these people anymore. Don't bring no porn stars here to me. There's a few porn stars that I don't mind talking to. I like talking to Sarah J. I like talking to Coco Brown. Coco Brown was a smart chick. She was studying and she had done porn and she was trying to become an astronaut. She was cool to talk to. But dog, I can't tell you how many of them chicks that came here that was doing hardcore porn that came out and sat down and I was like, well, what got you in the stripper? Well, I like sex and I like money, so I figured I would fuck for money. You know what I mean? Just dumb. Just fucking morons. Here's the thing. I don't care if you hot as hell. If you don't got a brain, I can't fuck with you. If you're smoking hot and you're obnoxious and you're selfish, I'm like, beat it. You know why? Because first of all, anybody who is that unaware and so selfish, right, in the grand scheme of things, they're going to be shitty lovers. You know why? A great lover is somebody who gives, who wants to please you. Pretty women who
I can say that 100%. Like I always make my woman come before I ever fucking do.
I give you guarantee you the prettiest girls that you ever fucked were the ones that were the trashiest fucks. Tried the least, didn't give a fuck, want to look pretty while she's fucking. You know what I mean? Just like it just and I mean I'm not saying that that's everybody, but I'm saying we're talking about most attractive women. They don't really get down like that. So I'm not saying, but if you have this thing where these women, you said, and this is what's really telltale. You said these are women that I wouldn't give the time of day when I was in high school. And now they're on OnlyFans, and now they won't give me the time of day. This, first of all, that screams so much. First of all, these are not even people that you really wanted in the first place. Because if you wanted them, you would have knocked them down in high school when they were chasing them. Now all of a sudden, because they're flicking the bean, or because you watching them on, now all of a sudden, I would hit that now. Come on, dog, that's not even what it is. That's not even your style. Because if it was your style, you'd have knocked it down. So what this really talks about, and this is why you're having such a hard time discussing this, and when I'm asking you these questions, is because you not being honest with yourself. And there's also a definite self-esteem issue because you want something because you can't have it. It's not what you want.
What everybody wants, though?
No. I'll answer that question like this. I bet you don't want a stuck-up burn victim, right?
What?
You don't want an arrogant, stuck-up burn victim. If you get a burn victim and she says, "Yeah, I don't know if you're good enough for me," and I'm like, "Bitch, you look like Freddy Krueger." And now because she's being aloof and cute, you may like, "Oh man, I really want." You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it got that baby stitch. I mean,
yeah, but you feel what I'm saying. What I'm saying is. There's an immaturity and a self-esteem thing when you want shit because you can't have it. There's a maturity that comes where you go, I like what I like, but I'm not willing to, just because somebody doesn't like me, I want them because they don't like me.
But just because what I hate doesn't mean it's what I want.
Exactly. And just because
or
something
at least don't agree with.
Yeah, dog. Okay. I use this analogy all the time. You ever see like a kid begs his father for a puppy, and the father goes, "Look, I'm not getting no fucking dog." It's like, "Daddy, please give me a dog." And he was like, "Look, I'm not walking no dog. I'm not feeding no dog. I'm telling you, get this dog. You gonna do what the fuck you have to do, right?" And what does the kid say? I promise. Then all of a sudden, 2 years in, right? Because you're asking, which is weird, because you're asking a kid to make a commitment. You're asking an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old or 13, a 15-year-old to make a commitment when they don't even understand what a commitment is. Big shout to Ace. Thank you for the $10 on the Cash App. So what I'm saying, and then what happens? So the father goes, "You know what? I'm tired of this dog. I'm getting rid of this fucking dog. I'm taking the dog to the pound," right? What does the kid say? "Please, Daddy, no, don't get rid of the dog. I promise I'll." And then what happens 6 months after that? They stop walking the dog again, right? So it speaks to a level of immaturity that children have when they want what they can't have. But when we're talking about ACE and man school and everything is for you, I just talked about being mindful of your thinking, to be in control of your emotion. Just because somebody doesn't want you, the first thing you need to ask is, do I want this person? And if you don't, then you have to have the maturity. You have to have the maturity to go, I don't even want this. Like good riddance. Yeah, Lethal Flatfoot sent a text. He says, "Aren't male porn stars miserable too?" Yep, absolutely. The big dick,
I've read that too.
The big dick male, they got regular chicks don't want to fuck them. They wanna, they don't mind a fucking, like as a novelty. But I know girls that was like, "Yo, I can't have this motherfucker just stretching me out, and I'm no good for nobody else anymore." And sometimes it's painful. If she's not a real size queen, it's painful. There's a guy online. There's a guy, that guy Adam 2022, Adam 21, Adam 22, whatever the fuck. He has that No Jumper podcast, and he let this porn star bang out his wife, and she had to go to the hospital because she was bleeding. I mean, look, if you in it, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not judging it. Whatever. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, who am I? Like I said, dog, I would love to. I get it. I would love to follow the yellow brick road.
Like I'm trying to contest it, but like, no, like you, like I get it, man. Like everybody got their own thing, but
and that's fine, dog. But just make sure that you don't let the fact that something is elusive be the thing why you want it, just because it's not available to you. You know what I mean?
I feel you, man. I feel you.
Because then what you're doing is now you're caught up in some shit you don't even want to be. You don't even want to be in.
Caught up in, yeah.
Because dog, I would go to Land of Oz and go right to the Lilliputians. I would move in. I would get a 2-story right off the yellow brick road in a minute. And I'm not ashamed of it, but I also wouldn't date some little person who had a fucked up attitude. I mean, yeah, that's it's something I'm into, but it's not something that I'm willing to and then the other thing is, if you're watching their OnlyFans and stuff, it ain't healthy, dog. Because
definitely not.
You put them on a pedestal. You put them on a pedestal. I mean, I can't tell, dog. I'll tell you one time I had this little bad chick I met at the comedy club. Swear to God, and she was. I mean, like I was like, I was probably 50. I'm in the car with her. I was like, "Yo, let's go to my house." She's like, "Okay." Right? She says, "Where do you live?" I go, "Brooklyn." She goes, "Did you ever meet Jay-Z?" I was like, "I got to drop you off at the hotel. This is a wrap." But I'm old enough to know, okay, now after I smash this, I got to hear this chick yapping about hip. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? But you don't want to waste time with stuff that you don't want. You feel me?
Yeah.
All right, brother. I'm going to go. I'm going to shut this down. I've been on for 2.5 hours.
I got you, man.
All right, brother.
I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you, too.
It was nice to talk to you.
Same.
I've heard so much about you, seen so much, and it was really nice, man. I appreciate it. You have a good night, man.
Big shout. All right, brother. Have a good night, man. Big shout to Matt. Matt, thank you for sharing with me and everything else. Real quick, let me put all the stuff up. Don't forget, sign up for the Patreon. The Patreon is up on the screen. Go to patreon.com/manschool202. The thing with the extra bonus content that we do, the Patreon people control it. So whatever y'all want us to talk about, you send me an email and I do a show about that particular topic. Don't forget, book a one-on-one consultation. I'm going to hear from Matt in a little while because we got to fix that. Matt, thank you so much for sharing with us and sharing with the family like that. DanteNero.com, click on consult. Please, if you haven't done it before, like, share, and comment. Also, make sure you hit the bell so that every time I go live, you get a notification. If you come on, at least you know I'm doing it. You can stop in for a little bit and drop a comment. Yo, man, I love y'all. GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Sexual Revolutions being podcast. I love y'all, man. Peace. We out of here.